girl can. Can you see this?
Oh my gosh.
This girl can.
Would that be this
girl? This girl.
These girls can.
Wait, what? Ebony, ivory. Yeah.
Hey, let's keep our day job, okay? Let's keep our day job.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay, so we are talking about down payment assistance programs because we find a lot of times with our clients, really one of the biggest problems buyers have is saving money.
Yeah.
Saving money.
I have problems saving money.
I mean,
and I'm in this business, so
I know
it's so hard
saving money and allocating that money directly for down payment or closing costs.
It's really hard to save money, guys. We totally understand it. I mean, and when you're talking about purchasing a home, right, with no assistance, and you come in with your own down payment and you come in with your own closing cost, I mean, it could be in excess of $10,000-$15,000, and that's a lot of money. Which adds up. That's a lot of money.
For sure. So I don't have down payment assistance programs always been around?
They have. I mean,
they look different.
Yes, as long as I
years.
can remember them. But there's been different programs and different names for them and different. By the way, let's cut.
I gotta get my hair.
The new haircut. I love it. It looks amazing.
Do I look younger?
You do look younger.
Do I?
I think so. What do you guys think? I think you guys.
I think I look like I'm 12 or something. I think my haircut was as short when I was in 5th grade.
No, you look younger.
Thank you.
Okay, so going back. So yes, there's always been down payment assistance programs. They've just been called different names. They've just been different programs in general. I mean, but there used to be, I mean, I've been in this business for about 23 years, and we used to have a program called the Nehemiah program. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay. There used to be programs with like WDC, which was the Women's Development Center. They used to have programs for single moms and women that were trying to purchase properties and they would assist them with down payments. There used to be EOB money. So there's always been, there's so many right now. Neighborhood Housing Services of Southern Nevada. There's the Culinary. There's Home is Possible. There's Home at Last. I mean, there are so many down payment assistance programs. It's okay, which is the right one for you?
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah. And there's guidelines. There's
correct.
You can't make more than this. You have to have
absolutely
all these.
There's like a lot of things that we refer to as far as like lender lingo or bank lingo, like debt to income ratios or income limits. How much money you can make, how much not. The median income, where they kind of cut what you can make based on the amount of people that are in a household. I mean, there's so many things to take into consideration and to factor in. So I think I'm not mistaken by saying that one of the most popular ones is Home is Possible, and the reason why is because they have the least amount of rules, in my opinion. Me personally.
More buyers fit into the box.
More buyers fit into the box because of the income limit being so high. Them having so many different programs available. They have teachers programs, they have VA, they have FHA, they have conventional, they have USDA. So, it's like the gamut of loans that are included in their programs.
Specialized for people. Yeah. So, you were telling me about a class. Are there any really good programs for nurses? So there is not a nurse program that I know about. I'm actually looking into something that I might be able to kind of tap into. I'm not sure. And it's Homes for Heroes. I don't know if you've heard of that. But Homes for Heroes does include nurses and police officers, first responders. So, Joanne, so if you have any questions, reach out to Claudia. And if there's not specifically for nurses, there probably is another program that you could fit into.
But nurses for sure fit into the Homes for Heroes.
Homes for Heroes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been kind of looking into that to participate in that, because you have to be a participant of it in order to do it. But it's a pretty good program from what I understand. I have an actual webinar for that next week.
Awesome. And so... So not all lenders do participate with down payment assistance programs.
That is correct. There are some, more and more are, but there are a lot of not loan officers, but mortgage companies that do not participate in not all down payment assistance programs. Maybe not Home is Possible, or maybe not the Culinary, or maybe not the Wish program.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of, maybe not Chenoa. There's like a lot of different ones.
So check around, ask. Claudia's a great resource,
Yes.
whether you use her or someone else.
Absolutely.
Check with the professionals.
I always tell
know.
people to always get a second opinion.
Yeah.
You know, don't take my word for it. Go and talk to somebody else and you know, do your homework.
So, just a backstory real quick. I've had Claudia and I had sit down and talked a lot about loans over the last year or so on video, and thank you for taking the time to do that. But Claudia and I actually met riding motorcycles.
Yes, we did.
Her husband rides a Harley, and
I ride on the back of it.
I
don't ride my own.
on the back.
Like, you ride a Harley?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So we met, and you know, we've done a lot of business together. But what I love about Claudia is that I work with buyers for sometimes years at a time, getting people ready for home ownership. And so her and I together, her and her team and myself, we sit down and we look at all the factors considered. You know, is a down payment assistance program a fit for you? What is your income look like? We make a credit plan. We make a savings plan. So there's all these pieces and parts that go into eventually when they're ready. Maybe we're waiting on a short sale to fall off or bankruptcy. Meanwhile, we have tasks, and the buyers are you know, saving X amount of dollars. They're getting their credit in credit worthy status of buying a home. And what I love about Claudia and her team is they follow up constantly, and we are all in the loop, and we're all a team together making it happen. So
I think the most important thing for me is that I don't look at a person when they come to see me as a commission check. So if they don't qualify now, it's like, let's see what we need to do. Is it fixing your credit? Is it getting stuff rid on your credit? Is your debt to income ratio too high? Let's look at everything, you know, let's evaluate. And so, you know, for sure that we've had a couple of customers where we started the process a year before and it took them a year to purchase, you know, a couple of actually very satisfied customers who have done that. We are at the point now where we've refinanced a couple of our customers to get them a better interest rate, because 2 or 3 years ago the rates were in the 5s and now they might be in the high 3s or very, very low 4s, and so that's a couple of $100 in savings. I mean, I look at customers as a customer for life, that if I treat them right, you know, they're going to be a long life customer, and then they might actually trust me to recommend us to somebody else, you know, that might be looking for a home that they're friends with or that they're family members with. And then here's the other thing, guys, we're going to put you in the best situation that fits your needs. You know, one of the first things I always tell people is, okay, just because you qualify for a $500,000 house doesn't mean you want a $3,000 mortgage payment, right? And
nothing worse than being house poor.
Exactly. And so those are the conversations that I like to have with customers. You know, like really doing an interview. I'm like, okay, what are you comfortable with paying? Because only you know what your debt is. Yeah, you might on paper qualify for a $3,000 mortgage, but do you really? You know, based on, hey, do you ride Harleys? Do you like going out every weekend? Is going to the movies important? All that stuff.
What are your life goals?
Exactly. But so back to down payment assistance. Like I told you before, one of the ones that I really like is Home is Possible, just because they're a little bit more lenient on some of the guidelines that they have, and an amazing program that they have. There's actually two. One is a program for VA for veterans. It's an amazing program, guys. If you're a veteran and you have that VA eligibility of purchasing a home, you can get into a house. Obviously, the down payment has always been 0%, right? So if you have a really good realtor like Kristen, she may negotiate closing costs on your behalf. And then you're coming in with 0 to the table. You might get your earnest money deposit refunded, or at least part of it. And then you get a fixed interest rate for 30 years at 3 1/8 today. So it's 3.125. That's an amazing interest rate to give to anybody. And it's fixed. It's fixed for 30 years. There's no prepayment penalty on that particular program. Another program
that's called the Heroes program, right?
That's called the Heroes program. Another program that is super amazing with them is the Teachers program. The Teachers program, the requirement is that you have to be a kindergarten through 12th grade teacher working for CCSD, or it could be another school. It doesn't have to be that one, but as long as it's K through 12.
Okay, so you have to be
full-time.
A technical teacher.
Yes, a teacher. And you get the same interest rate fixed for 30 years, but you also get $7,500 towards your closing costs or down payments, whichever one you choose. And I was telling Kristen that I'm closing one next week, where not only is she getting $7,500 from the program, she's getting it was 3.25% when we locked it. It just went down slightly, so you're actually getting a better rate now. But then her realtor got her, closing costs, so she's coming in with, I think, less than $1,000.
Yeah, I love it.
So there's a lot of great programs.
So part of the conversation I wanted to have today was about, a lot of times the consumer hears about, no down payment, that come in with $0. I would rather tell you to save your money, and yes, let's see what program fits for the buyer, and we'll talk about and give you all your options. Look at your credit, your income, your credit rate, your income, your debt,
everything. See
what program, the teachers, the heroes, what program you fit into if you qualify for any of them, but keep saving your money.
Always.
It's not guaranteed. Closing costs are going to be paid for. It's if you hire a great realtor, it's a possibility.
Even if you have a great realtor, though, sometimes you may be fixated on a property that 10 other people are fixated
exactly.
on.
And
you're not going to get closing costs on that.
It's still a seller's market. It is still a seller's market based on inventory. However, it's not stupid like it was a few years ago. Right. There was a time that we'd be looking for months, and because of all the buyers, we weren't able to get offers accepted. But so hire a professional, hire a team that knows all your options, these programs. You said the teacher's program is going away?
The teacher's program is going away in June. So what happened is a couple of years ago, they launched the teacher's program, and it was only for the first 300 teachers who applied. So they did that. Back then it was $10,000 and the very amazing interest rate. And then it went away for a little while, and then they brought it back with $7,500. They didn't limit it to like 100 or 200, but they said, okay, it's ending. And it is ending in June. So if you are a teacher, take advantage of it. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. You can own a home as long as you're selling that home to live in the property that you're going to be buying. So you're eligible for that. So
home.
It's owner-occupied. It's not a first-time home buyer's program. And quite frankly, so are the rest of them.
Okay.
Too. So as long as you're going to be living in the property, then you're eligible for that program. And then here's another thing, just kind of on a closing note, kind of piggybacking off of what you said. Think about it. Home ownership, like to buy a home, that's like the American dream, right? And it's a large purchase. In my opinion, I believe that there's got to be a little bit of skin in the game.
Yeah,
for sure. So don't ever expect to. I think a lot of people, the hype of zero down payment, that worked when you were doing stated income loans, and that's the reason why the crash happened, because people were getting 100% financing.
Ridiculous.
They weren't putting any money down, and so a lot of those people, didn't care to walk away from those properties because they hadn't invested really any of their own money other than making the mortgage payment, which if you were renting, you would have been making a payment on a house anyways. So
anything worth having is worth putting a little bit into.
Right.
It takes time to invest in your relationship with your husband, and it's worth when you're invested in it.
No, for sure, absolutely. Yeah. And so yes, you may get lucky, and not have to come in with as much money as you thought, and this is like kind of far few and in between with the zero, but always expect to put a little bit of your own money into a large purchase. I mean, you don't go to get a new car and they say no money down, right? Like sometimes they'll take at least $1,000 from you once you're there. You know?
Always something. Hey, Paul Chaffee said hello, ladies.
Oh, hey, hi.
So we wanted to share these programs. There has been some slight changes. There has been some repayment of some of the
like some of the what they did is they implemented like prepayment penalties on these loans, because what was happening is people were taking advantage of the amount of money that you were getting as, the free money for the down payment, but because these programs are at a slightly higher interest rate than what the going rate is they were refinancing 6 months later to kind of get into a lower interest rate. And so the nonprofit got a wind of that, and they started noticing that a lot of their loans were being refinanced, and so they added a prepayment penalty on most of these loans. And so I was telling Kristen that most of them have a 3-year prepayment penalty, which means you cannot, if you sell or you refinance the property in the first 3 years, you have to pay some of that money back, and it's prorated. What they just added was a 3-year/30-year forgivable. And so what that means is, let's hypothetically say on a couple of loans, on FHA and conventional, depending on what contribution you take, if, let's hypothetically say you were getting $10,000 for the assistance, $5,000 of that is forgivable if you keep the house for the first 3 years, right? Then the other 5 you will always have to pay back unless you keep the house and for 30 years. So on those, basically you're thinking, okay, if I keep the house for 3 years, half of that is pardoned, but then the other half you'll have to pay back when you refinance or eventually sell the house.
So you don't have to make any payments on that
No
$5,000
payments, nope.
until you sell it. So
You don't
they
have to
put
make
a
any
lien.
payments
They put
on
a lien on it.
They put a lien on the
Yeah.
property, yes.
Hey, nothing is free, guys.
No.
Like the investors that are loaning the money, they got to make their money too. It's got to make sense for them. So in some of these circumstances, yes, you're getting down payment assistance money to get into the home, but your interest rate may be higher. And so sometimes, you're at work, you're talking to your buddies, oh, I got this, that, I'm getting into a house. Your buddy may have got a different interest rate,
Correct.
but you need to understand that your down payment assistance money gave you money to get into it, but your interest rate is going to be higher no matter what your buddy's paying. And so we run into that a lot. Like, what are you guys trying to do to us?
Right. I always look at it this way. Nothing is free, just like she's saying. And so if you're one of those people that it's like super hard for me to save money, but I really want to buy a house, and so my only option is I need to get the assistance so that I can get into a house, well, then it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you that higher interest rate. And then, it's going to cost you when you eventually sell that property, but you're getting into a house. You're making your mortgage payment.
Yeah.
You're going to make that money back on your equity, hopefully, if if homes keep increasing in price. And so you always look at those options, but always pick a loan officer or a lender that's going to explain those things to you, so you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, and so let's talk about interest rate. Like, so why would an interest rate be important to a buyer?
Because the lower the interest rate, the lower your payment.
Your monthly payment.
Yes, and also
Exactly.
for us, it's okay. We work with debt to income ratios, and so let's say that on somebody so let's just take a conventional loan, right? We can use 50% of your income for a housing ratio or for a payment, and so if the interest rate is 4% and you qualify for, let's just say, $300,000. But then you go to down payment assistance and the interest rate is 4.5%. Now you don't qualify for $300,000. Now it's going to be less because that interest rate increases your payment.
Yeah. So that's how all of that factors in.
Mhm.
The reason that you want to have good credit is so you can get a better interest rate, so that you can get a better payment on a mortgage in a long term.
And there are two types of borrowers. There are the borrowers that are super, super rate sensitive, and what I mean by that is like they go shopping and they go looking for the lowest interest rate that they can possibly receive. And then we have the buyers that are like, not necessarily that they don't care what their interest rate, but they're more concentrated on what's my monthly payment going to be. And as long as the monthly payment falls within the parameters of what I'm looking at, then it's okay if I get a slightly higher interest rate, but I'm getting assistance, for some of the down payment. So it's a matter of preference, I think, for people.
Well, and if you guys have any questions, Claudia's pre-approval process is super simple. I know there's a lot of online companies that give you options, but when you have a local team working for you locally that can answer questions day and night, it is much different than having a online nobody's working on your file deal. I can't tell you how many times deals have fallen apart.
Well, can we talk about that for a little bit too?
do.
Because I think that people don't understand, and coming from me, the loan officer trying to tell a borrower, I don't want to make them feel like I'm steering them or I'm trying to convince them to stay with me. But what happens normally is, let's say you got pre-qualified with a online company, and and you're not Kristen's borrower, you're somebody else's borrower, and then Kristen came to me and I pre-qualified one of her borrowers, and they're pre-qualified with me. You made an offer, and Kristen's borrower made an offer on the exact same home. What is that listing agent? You as a real estate agent, tell me what you guys do when you see two offers come in and one of them is an online company and a mortgage bank.
This week. I had it happen on a listing, and the online, because it's not solid. Number one, you can put your information in, and it's no income, no assets have been verified. There's nothing. It is just an automated compute. Nothing has been done.
Right?
So we required that before we would even look at that offer, they had to come get a local pre-approval.
Got it.
And so it was my listing, so they got a local pre-approval, because it doesn't, that weight of that paper is garbage.
Right.
And so as a listing agent, your even if you're a great 800 score borrower, if
but
you
come
come with
know
it,
that as
I
a
don't.
listing agent, you just see the two pre-approval letters, right? So you see one.
It was
from,
garbage, and so no, that weight, it means nothing. So get with a reputable lender, real estate agent team. Make sure, because it won't fly.
Listen, online mortgage companies are very convenient for you, the consumer. They're super easy for you to go in and fill out stuff, but I'm not saying that you're doing yourself a disservice, but I'm telling you, I mean, I've worked with real estate agents for over 22 years, and the reputation that they have for closing their deals is not very good, and so that is the reason why a listing agent will not accept, or not that they won't accept, but if they have choices, they are not going to go. Their first choice is not going to be the pre-approval letter with the online company. So
it was a pre-qual.
Right, so there you go, pre-qual letter. So just so you know that when I'm explaining things to you, I'm not trying to steer you my way. Like I said, I always say go get a second opinion, but normally, because it is a digital world now and people just want everything so fast, that's the most convenient way to go, right? Is like, let me just go see if I can go to this company and apply online, and you get an approval and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm approved, and then you make an offer and it's like, why are my offers not getting accepted? That's the reason why.
Or you get accepted, you put up earnest money, you get halfway through the process, you're almost closing, and something comes up because they never verified all your stuff.
Yeah, we forgot to ask you for a divorce decree and didn't realize that, whatever, and now you lose your earnest money, right? Because you're out of your contingent.
The reason our
period.
Purpose is to put information out there. You choose whatever you choose. Yeah. But I would rather do the work on the front end.
Right.
And then as we go through the process, we get offers accepted. Yep. It's not a problem.
My goal always on a pre-approval or a pre-qual is to make sure that if I'm giving Kristen or another real estate agent a pre-approval letter for that borrower, it's because we're closing that loan. There's not going to be any mistakes. I check everything up front. I run your credit. I get all of your documents, pay stubs, tax returns. I do an income calculation worksheet. I order a verification of employment from your employer. I'm making sure that I'm crossing all my T's and dotting all my I's, because I know that it takes a lot to save up $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even $5,000 for earnest money deposited, and I know that money can be lost within the first 2 to 3 weeks of the transaction, and I don't want that to happen.
I will not allow that to happen to my client. That's why I don't let them do those things. So anything else regarding down payment assistance programs that we did not cover?
Well, again, we only covered one, right? There's a lot of programs out there, like I said. There's culinary for people that work in the casinos, and that's a good program. And like I said, Wish sometimes. There's different ones, so it's kind of like which is the one that's most convenient for you.
And what are you looking at? Right. Buying? Are you looking at North Las Vegas? Are you looking in unincorporated Clark County? What are we looking at? And so that's when we need to have a conversation, and then Claudia and I can determine to guide you to the proper program.
And if you're not ready now, guess what? We'll get you ready. Yeah. We'll work with you.
Vicki, closing ratios make a huge difference. I mean, honestly, I can probably count on 3 fingers as many times as a loan hasn't closed. And then we figure out a solution, and it still closes.
Yeah.
So that's the nature of our business. There's always issues.
Yeah.
But that's our job, is to solve problems.
Right. Well, and then also if you're
And
good
have
to
a good
kind
team.
of look ahead, to avoid them. But when you do, not to panic and say, okay, this is the situation. What can we do?
Yeah.
To solve it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
No.
No, I think that's it. If you guys have questions, put them in the comments. We'll put Claudia's information in the comments too. Contact us.
Yeah.
Contact a professional, anyone that you love. The point is hire a professional and make sure you have a good team working on your behalf.
That's right.
That's important.
Yeah.
And that's why we say the online thing. It's like some bot in the internet world that's kind of just plugging in the numbers. There's nobody really that's got your back.
It's definitely convenient.
Yeah.
It's convenient, but it's not the most efficient or accurate.
Teach her how to play dominoes.
Ah,
Mary Perry.
We're on camera and there's children watching. Otherwise, Mary knows what I'm thinking.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we will do another one. We'll probably be doing some more regarding credit. Let's
sure.
do that because that's always a good.
Yeah.
People always want to know more about
Right.
credit.
And then another one too is tax season is here, you guys, and so let's talk about that.
Yeah, tax season.
Refund. I smell refunds.
What?
Just kidding.
Rates are amazing.
Yes, rates are really good right
Really,
now.
really good. So have questions. Put them in the comments.
Yep.
We'll get you connected. Have a
Bye,
great day,
guys. Have
guys.
a good week.